Another factor rattling global markets today that we didn't discuss with Mark just now, North Korea. According to a dissident group, North Korean leader Kim Jong-il has ordered his military to be combat ready, and the country says it's severing all ties with South Korea. This is all about the deadly sinking of a South Korean warship. An international panel says North Korea torpedoed that ship. Is this just the usual North Korean noise-making or a sign of serious trouble? Joining us now is David Gordon. He is a career intelligence official who was policy planning director at the State Department under the Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice, and he joins us now. He's the head of a research group at the Eurasia Group, a global risk consulting company. So thanks for joining us. Let's first get your take on how serious it is. I mean, the North Koreans have done some serious things, international incidents in the 60s and the 80s that haven't led to war. Is this the kind of thing that's going to push it too far?
You know, I think this is the most serious incident, certainly in the last 15 years. I don't think we're headed to war, but the uncertainty here is we know so little about what's going on in the North and why they did this that the risk of war is still here, and it's heightened.
You know, David, one rumor going around is that Kim Jong-il is dying and that he ordered this attack on the South Korean Navy ship to kind of get support for his son among some of the hawks in his country. What do you think? Is that really just a silly rumor, or could that be real?
No, I think it could be real. But again, I think what people are doing, what we've seen is this fairly unprecedented events, this sinking of a South Korean ship. And now we're thinking, what rational explanation is there for why North Korea did this? The problem with the North Koreans is that they're a highly secretive society. We don't know how they work. We don't know what the relationship between Kim Jong-il and the military is. And we don't know if they'll overstep the bounds and do something stupid.
Well, and why does it matter so much? I mean, in the 60s, they attacked a U.S. naval ship, took 82 hostages. In the 80s, they shot down a plane with 115 passengers on it, obviously killing all of them. Why are they allowed to do so much without real retaliation?
Well, there has been some serious retaliation in terms of economic pressure from the rest of the world, especially the West. The main problem here is that North Korea has a battery of artillery and short-range missiles less than 50 miles from Seoul, the capital of South Korea, and they could literally turn Seoul into a blazing inferno in a matter of 20 minutes to an hour. I mean, so they have a real conventional weapon here.
I mean, David, that's terrifying to hear, of course. I mean, but again, realistically, you don't think that's going to happen?
No, I think the main thing that is mitigating against it is they're highly dependent upon Chinese food resources and Chinese support in the international arena to avoid further isolation. Right now, there's no question in my mind that the Chinese leaders are urging them, cool it, cool it, cool it. Don't let this thing get out of control, because the North Korean situation also threatens China's growing reputation as a stable Asian power. When they can't control their closest ally and friend in the region, China's relations with South Korea, with Japan, and with Southeast Asia deteriorate to the benefit, frankly, of the United States.
You know, David, you mentioned China, and China has certainly, as a nation, been tackling with kind of growing capitalistic ideas in their own country, and there's a struggle there. Also, Ian Bremmer, who heads up your group, wrote an op-ed in New York Times today, NewYorkTimes.com, kind of how North Korea is struggling with kind of not being able to isolate their people as well, that's also at play here.
Right, and North Korea had a failed effort last year to shut down domestic markets. They had a failed currency reform. They scapegoated the finance minister several weeks ago, publicly executed him. This is a society on the edge. And I think the danger here is that if it does tip over, or if the military miscalculates, then you have the risk of escalation. And that's what's putting pressure on a market that's already very sensitive to any bad news.
Right. It's definitely played out in the financial market, certainly in Asia. David, thank you so much. Our thanks to David Gordon of the Eurasia Group.